Okay, hello. Anyone there? Pachi Yadav. Hello, how are you? Good to see you. Good evening, good afternoon where I am. Good evening to you. Can you hear me? Microphone working? Can you hear me, Pachu? Yeah, okay, good. All right, so maybe it's, hello, Abdullah Al-Cliff. Where are you from, Abdullah? I'm very good, thank you, Pachu. Nice to hear from you. Who else have we got? Say hello, everybody. Tell me hello and tell me what country you're from. Syrian, living in Lebanon. Great, nice. I don't know. I think you might be the first Syrian I've had. Welcome, Abdullah Cliff. Mohammed Shafek, hello. Hello from Azerbaijan, Gul. Welcome, everybody. Yes, great. Okay, so we're going to do a task 2. Start off with a task 2. Let me just write it. I'll tell it and then I'll put it in the comments. Some people feel that learning new languages can help you. However, others believe that it is a waste of time and energy because we have advanced technology for translation. Discuss both views, give your opinion. So let me try and copy and paste. Hello from Nepal, Egypt. Hello from Kuwait. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Vincent Mohammed Kadak. Hello, Malay. Welcome back. Nice to see you again. Okay, so the reason I like this topic is because they've combined the topic of languages and the topic of technology. So they're joining languages and technology. And they do this a lot with 2 topics, education and globalization, or consumerism and languages, or consumerism and technology, or environment and globalization. They take 2 topics and they sort of make a question that combines both topics. So when you're studying and when you're thinking of your own ideas, you should try and do that a lot. You've got your topics, vocabulary lists. Try and think of ways that they can combine 2 topics into one. So one of their favorite topics is languages. Another one of their favorite topics is technology. So here they've combined languages and technology. Hello, Kotiko Alan from Cameroon, I remember. Hello from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Hello, Jeffrey. Excuse me. Right, so first ideas is, what should we do? Why is learning a language useful? And then we will discuss, why is translation technology useful? Hello from Sri Lanka. Nice to see you. All right, so first is, why is learning a language useful? Let's just start with that. I think we're going to have to discuss why languages cannot be replaced by translation, electronic machine translation. It's a discuss both views. So it's not an easy topic. You can't just do advantages of languages, advantages of machine translation. You've got to say if you agree, or, well, no, it's not agree, disagree. You've got to say languages are better than machine translation. And then you've got to say machine translation means that we don't need to learn languages. So let's start. Our first point is languages are better than machine translation, and machine translation will not replace languages. Right, and give me full sentences, please don't give me little phrases. So Abdullah says, because it's important for communication, especially if you are working in a foreign country. Discuss both views. Yes. From Nairobi, Kenya. Hello, Grace. All right, but important for communication, you can say that it's for either side of this argument. Why must we learn languages? Why will machine translation never replace two human beings talking a language? Okay, Vincent Marihal says, using technology for translation is time consuming. It is. Okay, good. You can save time. I think it's a good point. If you're just talking face to face with a person, you can save a lot of time. The technology slows the conversation down. And that's a point that we wish we will get to, is that even with the machine translation, you can't have a natural conversation. It's always going to be a staggered, awkward, unnatural conversation. Right. Nalinda says, hello, I just joined because I've been dental procedure. Okay, thank you. That's good to know. Can you see the question? Malay says, learning a language is beneficial because it makes people more efficient in communication with others while communicating. Okay, I'll put the topic again. Be careful. Don't just do advantages of learning a language. You've got to say why it's better to be able to speak a language than just relying on machine translation. You've got to connect it to machine translation. Don't just do advantages of... Here comes the topic again. What's the topic? Because the technology of language, such as device, cannot translate perfectly. Yes, now we're getting to something very important, is the machine translation cannot translate exactly what you want to say. Why not? Face-to-face, yes. Rajit Sandhu says face-to-face communication because of body language. Yes, absolutely. Hello, Vamshi. Learning by people is better than machine because, yes, now we're getting into something. Feelings and emotions. Yes, this is a discuss both views. We're discussing both views. Okay, and somebody mentioned, Malay mentions culture. Okay, very good. So we're going to discuss them both. But first, we've got the whole emotional connection between two people, and that's body language and facial expressions and smiles and frowns. And then we've also got culture. So we'll discuss both of them. Vincent, learning a language can make us social and help us in a good, interpersonal relationships. Absolutely. I think we'll connect that to the whole emotional human connection between people. Learning language is important because it makes people independent to do any types of work in any nation. That's just an advantage of languages. You can use machine translation to make you independent. So be careful with this question. Don't just do advantages of language. Why is it better than machine translation? Ranjit says, yes, mistakes in technology, good. Malay says, maybe the machine translation is not available. It's a very good point. So that's depends on what? Infrastructure, availability of internet. Good. Sandeep says, we can gain new language when we gain a new language. Yeah, it's just beneficial for you. It helps you to broaden your horizons and exercise your mind. Maybe that's a third point, is that we are getting lazier and lazier and lazier and relying on technology too much. What about the benefits of just learning and learning for yourself? Machine translation can't provide us the right meaning. It can cause misunderstanding. Abdullah, yes, that's our second point, is the machine translation can't do it correctly all the time. Cognitive skill increases. Yes, Patriyadav. Languages are more complicated. Yes, structures. Full enough says. Never translate. Cross-cultural life. That's very nice. Cross-cultural interactions. Full enough. It's a very good point. The machine can't understand cultural differences. Bad body language. Yes, that's maybe our first point. Keep your brain creative. Successful in academic and other sectors. Yes. Discovering a wide horizon regarding culture. Great. Yes. What about idioms? What about colloquial language, collocation, and that sort of thing? I'll give you a simple example. If you just say to somebody, look at that, how will the machine translate that? Body language is a very important part of our communication. Yes, Vincent says another good point. What about regional dialects? Let's Ranjit, machine doesn't have emotions. Yes, we were doing emotion and human connection 1, cross-cultural differences 2, and personal growth 3. Yes, or I just want to put in regional dialects. That was a nice. The machine translation can't understand all the regional dialects. Interpersonal relationships. Yes, Grace. That's in our first point. One-to-one communication. Okay, very good. I think we've got enough points for that. So, well, for the one side of the argument. So I'm just going to summarize them. The first thing is about human interaction. If we use technology to put between us, there might be a breakdown in communication, and we won't establish the same level of emotional connection with the other person if we're just using machine translation. So you want to discuss something about how a machine can never replace human emotions. And we don't want to lose that interpersonal connection between people. Talk about connection. Secondly, okay, I'm sorry, I'm not reading all of these yet. Improve communication skills. Yeah, don't just say general advantages. Hello, Sandeep. Multi-language, other sounds. Good. Okay, so you got to talk about the human connection and the emotions and say that machines cannot replicate or replace human emotions. Secondly, you got to talk about the machine will not be able to understand cultural differences and cross-cultural communication. There are a lot of subtle, this is a very good word. I always want to use this word. S-U-B-T-L-E, subtle. It's a very nice word. Try and use it a lot. When we are communicating with people, especially in two languages, there are a lot of subtle differences, which means small differences which are still important, especially between two cultures, which a machine just doesn't understand. So for that machine to translate, it would need to understand the cultures as well. And yeah, it would need to understand the cultures, and a machine can't do that. So I had some nice phrases here. Different cultures prefer different ways of speaking. And deep cross-cultural knowledge. Cross-cultural is very nice. So a machine doesn't understand the cross-cultural knowledge. Great. Here's something that I like that I found on the internet. Hello, everybody. Although language plays an important role in communication, of course it does, very often what is implied or not said is as important or more important than what is said. What you don't say sometimes is very important, or what you suggest and you say it without saying it. In English, we say, you must read between the lines. Sorry, I'm a bit hoarse today. It's a great saying, is Interpersonal communication often means people must read between the lines. He's saying something, but what is he really saying? And a machine can't do that. Okay, good. So the machine can't do it properly. It can't do cross-cultural differences, and it can't understand what we really want to say. It will only translate the literal meaning of what we just said. It also can't understand idioms and that kind of thing. Let's use this word. The literal meaning. It means exactly the meaning as it says there on the page. And very often we don't only have a literal meaning, we have a figurative meaning. And that's a lot of the idiomatic language and the metaphoric language. It's not exactly that. Right. So that's it. Won't understand the idioms. And then the third thing is we should not stop learning. Learning is a wonderful process. It's good for us. It's good for our brains. It's something that we should continue to do throughout our lives. And we should not allow technology to make us lazier and lazier and lazier. Right. Elaborate the deep cross-cultural knowledge. Machines do not understand deep cross-cultural knowledge. I'm trying to think of examples of cross-cultural changes in maybe something to do with religion. You should say these things. You don't want to say these things. You don't want to offend that person or offend their religion. The machine doesn't know anything about that. Okay, good. That's enough of that. But now we need to argue the other side, which is it is a waste of time to learn languages because we have machine translation. So now we're arguing the other point. Right, okay, you've got lots of things here. Machine unable to extract something which is implied. Good. A good word is it's implied. It's not said, it's implied. Abdullah, learning new language, communication skills keep us creative. Absolutely, very good. Learning languages, it makes our brain activate. Absolutely, that's our third point. If we rely deeply on machines, we will become slaves and our brains will die. Exactly, that's the third point. We just get lazier and lazier and lazier, and eventually we become stupid. Eventually, the machine becomes more intelligent than the human being. Great. So now why is learning a language a waste of time and energy? Why shouldn't we learn a language? We have machine translation. So why are we learning languages? Money for internet. Absolutely. I think learning a language, you could say that. You could say learning a language takes a lot of money. I mean, that's in the question, time and energy. Maybe it's better to spend that money and that time and that energy on learning something else. Now we don't need to learn languages, so we can learn mathematics or whatever. You can use that time to focus on your job. Right, good. Ferdows Shikder says, money has the ability to code anything in a precise way, and so learning with extra effort does not have meaning. Yes, we're wasting our time. We can spend that time and energy and money on other things. Machine has the ability to code anything. Good. Machines are faster, approachable, more intelligent than the lazy, unstable human beings. Yeah. Maybe a good word there is more efficient. It depends on the conversation that you want to have. If you're just trying to have a quick business conversation, it's about getting information, giving information. Maybe a machine is better. Some conversations, we don't have emotion. We don't need emotion. We don't need a human connection. We're just trying to exchange information. So maybe a good thing that you could put in your somewhere, maybe in your conclusion, is not all conversations are the same. Machines are faster, approachable. Good. If we don't learn language, its traits and value may be faded. Good. That's a good point. We should keep languages alive, the beautiful parts of languages. That's the original point. Machine is meticulous, not possible by human. Yes. Meticulous, we can say efficient. Learning a language required a lot of time. Exactly. And I think that's the main thing, Malay, is learning. It takes a lot of time, thousands of hours and thousands of dollars. We can use that time in other places. Ahmed Bakham, nice topic. Yes, absolutely. I like this topic. It's a new topic, and it's a combination of languages and technology, which I like. Vincent says, machines are really helpful for a short period of time. For example, when we're on vacation. Exactly. You just want to get some information. You want to say, where is the police station, from a stranger? So then a machine translation is actually better. Sometimes we don't need to know a whole language. So exchange of information, often better the machine way. Learning needs persistence, which is difficult sometimes for learners. Good. With machines, it's easier. Yeah, you can explain how difficult and how much effort, time, energy, money learning a language requires. Pachu Yadav, Sandeep says, machine is faster than human beings. Machine can translate any language. Yes, that's a very good point, Sandeep. If you have that machine, you can go anywhere in the world and you can just put a different language, type in different language, and you can understand 100 languages using that machine. But we can learn one language, two language, three language. So the machine is more useful because it provides a greater variety. Maybe you could say something about variety of languages. Good point. Pachu says, learning language a waste of time. It takes many years. Exactly. It takes so long, because this is the main point, I think, is learning a language. It's not like learn a language. It takes so long, so much time, so much effort. And I think that the thing is, why are you learning the language? If you want to learn the language for enrichment, maybe your husband or your wife is a different language to you, and then you want to have a deeper relationship with that person, learn the language. But if you just want to go and visit a country and just find your way around and say, how much does that cost? Maybe machine is better. It's not worth learning a whole language just for that. Wow, lots of things to read. I think learning, focus on your career, yeah. Maybe you can focus on other things, yes. Some elderly people, you can talk about elderly people, and machine translation can have benefits for them. Or you could not only talk about elderly people, people who don't have internet or something, people who don't have the opportunity to learn a language. The machine is useful for them. New experience, great. All right. So I think we've answered that quite well. We've got the 1, 2, 3 points on why we should continue to learn languages. And then we've said why sometimes in certain circumstances, machine translation is better. The two main points that we made are, it takes a lot of time, effort, money to learn a new language. And maybe that's not the best way to spend your resources. And then secondly, sometimes we don't need to learn a whole new language. Maybe we just want to go on holiday for 2 weeks to this country. We just use the machine, much easier. Abdullah says, yeah, maybe some people prefer machines. Maybe some people are shy. That could help. Saves time. Okay, good. I think we've discussed that a lot. It's a very nice topic. Machines are developed, use machine, done. Spending myriad of time. Don't use the word myriad. Everybody is using these two words, plethora and myriad. Forget about them. We don't use them so much. Everybody's using them. Okay, new question. New topic. Don't worry, I won't repeat the topic. We're going on to a new topic. These are all recent questions that people sent me that they did in their test. Let's do this one. Plethora and myriad. Yeah, I hardly ever use those. And I see these days students are just using them a lot. Okay, more and more companies are producing goods in countries other than their home country, the country of their head office. And this was an advantage, disadvantage. Right. So this is obviously globalization, the topic. And we're first going to discuss what are the advantages. Does this development have more advantages or disadvantages? Computer or paper-based, I don't know. Just use many or a lot. Don't use plethora. Anyway, I'm back to the topic. Advantages of a company producing products in a different country. And one of the things you've got to ask, as we did last week, or no, 2 weeks ago, is who are we talking about here? Are we talking about advantages for the company, advantages for the society, advantages for the government, advantages for the country, advantages for the individual, environment, problems, and labor employment? I need full sentences. Zhao Ming Zhang, full sentences. Innovation items will be able to use other nations which are not produced in that country. Yes, good. Profit margin, good. So the other countries can benefit. In this essay, you must specify who is getting the advantage or who is suffering the disadvantage. So you can say exchange of technology, definitely it's an advantage. The other country will benefit from the exchange of technology. Good. Extend their profit margin. Yes. Okay, the company will benefit. Why do they do it? Why do they have a higher profit margin? If countries' value of economy is higher, then it can gain more profits. Exactly. Be careful. We're not saying why do they do it. We're saying what are the advantages of it. The reason why they do it is because often it's cheaper to produce the goods in that country because the wages are cheaper or the materials are cheaper, whatever reason. But that's why we're looking for advantages. Don't say reasons. High taxes, yeah, again, we want advantages. Vincent says, local employment, very good. So that's an advantage for the country. I think we're looking at advantages to humankind, to society. So the advantages will provide local employment in that country. Very good. Privilege, discovering in the own nation is chances of employment opportunities. Good. Employment, local employment. Company can benefit from cheaper labor. Okay, so yes, definitely that's an advantage for the company. Occupations, good. Job creation, local employment. Pachu Yadav, yes, maybe the people in that country will be able to buy that product at a cheaper price. Thank you, Patel Shirag. Local people to work, good. Companies get a lot of skilled workers, easy access to product. Assorted goods, yeah, so we can say there a lot of cultural exchange. That's generally globalization. Keep it a bit more specific to companies, I think. Society will get benefit. Technological exchange, good. Raw materials, labor, yeah. So Pachi Yadav, that's the advantage for that company. Cheap transportation, okay. These ones are confusing because they don't say in the question advantage for who, advantages and disadvantages for who. So you need to choose and you need to say it's an advantage for the company because cheap labor, lower costs. It's an advantage for that local country because of employment. Topic is the cheap materials, input increases. Okay, that's great. I think we've got two. We've got one, it's an advantage or it is an advantageous. I don't know why you don't use that enough. It is advantageous, the adjective. It is advantageous for the company because they can produce the product at a lower cost and increase their profits. Secondly, it's advantageous for the destination country or the local economy because of employment opportunities and because of technological exchange, and the local population will develop skills that they wouldn't otherwise develop. So good, we've got one advantage for the company, one advantage for the local population. Other undeveloped countries, yes. Share the technology, yes, exactly. Select items. Yeah, I wouldn't really talk too much about they will get that product for cheaper because that's a very small advantage. What if the product is just one thing like shoes? Okay, so they get shoes cheaper, but not that much cheaper, and not always. So stick with those two. Company benefits because of cost, local people benefit because of job opportunities and skills, develop skills. Right, so let's move on to disadvantages. Why is it a disadvantage? And for who? When companies produce their goods in different countries. Right, disadvantageous. Very nice, Ahmed. Disadvantageous for companies because they will need more. I don't know what that is. That word is transilota. I don't know what that word is. It's a disadvantage, Ranjit, because manufacturers will lose their business orders. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not sure. Ferdous Shikder says companies with multiple branches become mega projects with huge customer segments. Okay, that's advantage, I think. Aruva says increase pollution. That's an interesting point. We'll come to that. Rifat Hassan, unemployment. No, we get employment. It increases employment. Tung Dao. Local government could benefit from expanding their foreign currency input. Yeah, that's quite technical, but sounds good. Foreign currency is a nice phrase. Vincent says, in terms of profit, yeah, but explain a bit more. Ranjit, pay GST maybe. Environmental. Okay, we're going to discuss environment, definitely. Long distance, yes. Lakmal, the long distance transportation, that we must discuss, that has environmental effects. Sahil makes a very good point. Maybe they affect local businesses. Vincent, environment. Shipping costs. Yes, Anil. Shipping costs and complex government regulation. So it can be an disadvantage for the company because of shipping costs and complex government regulations. Nice phrase. Whoa, slow down. Yes, environment. Gilles Patel says environment, good. Xiaoming Zhang, pollution, environment, good. Okay, we're going to talk about environment. All of them prefer to work in local companies. Yeah, it's a good. Maybe local businesses will suffer. Environment, Abdullah, yes. Resources. Farmland, yeah, maybe that's an important point. They build a factory on the farmland. Companies lack the fortune in international level, maybe. Okay, I think we'll local produce, chance to use goods for others. Good. Okay, so the first thing that we're all talking about is environment. And what you should mention here is laws, the laws in the country of manufacture. Often a company will move their business because the laws in that country are a bit easier or a bit less strict. So the local people, so we can talk about environmental laws and also labor laws. Labor laws I'll talk about first. But yes, a good point is very often in that other country, the environmental laws aren't so strict. So the company can release pollutants into the environment and they don't have to clean up their factories, and it just becomes cheaper. So the environment of that country is affected. Another good thing to talk about is labor laws. Very often in other countries, there aren't laws which protect the worker. So they can abuse the workers. They can make them work 12 hours at a time. Sometimes maybe they can make children work, and then they pay children $1 for 1 day. So the labor laws in that country allow for that population to be abused. Right, originality of product, get fade. Brain drain, maybe brain drain. Exploit, there we go. Exploitation of the workers, exploitation of the local population. You can mention the word sweatshops. I don't know if it's still happening, but I remember 10 years ago or a few years ago, some big companies from rich countries had factories in somewhere in not so rich countries, and they were exploiting the workers, and they called those sweatshops. Sweat because you sweat when you're tired, and it's just like 1,000 people in a building, and they all have to work and make whatever, and there's no law to protect them. And so it's cheaper for the company to do it there because they don't have to worry about air conditioning for the workers or something like that. So exploitation of workers, very good. Exploitation of workers. It may lead to exploitation of the workers, of the local workers. Infectious diseases, maybe, yes. Communicable diseases, maybe, yeah. They don't have to obey health and safety rules. That's a good collocation. Health and safety. Very nice collocation. We use those words together. So maybe in the other country, the factory does not need to follow health and safety rules and regulations. Low wages, yes, maybe they pay them low wages. They exploit the workers. And I think that's the main disadvantage. Great. I think that's enough. Okay, that's very good. Let's do a little bit of speaking and then we can finish up for the day. My voice is getting a bit hoarse. So we're doing speaking now, speaking part 3. And the topic is telling the truth and lying. And so maybe the part 2 will be something like, tell me about a time when you told a lie, or tell me about a time when you weren't 100% truthful, or tell me about a time when somebody that you know lied or wasn't truthful. Yes, speaking part 3. Right, so that's the part 2 is talking about when you or somebody else did not tell the truth completely. So you must have something like that ready. It's quite a difficult one. And then we move on to part 3, and they say, why don't people always tell the truth? Why do you think people don't always tell the truth? Of course, it's a very common thing. You can say, well, it's actually very common that people don't tell the truth. Sometimes for bad reasons, sometimes for good reasons. Candy says, afraid to be punished. Good. And then you must say, if that's in the speaking test, then you must give an example. For example, a child will not tell the truth. He's scared of getting punished. Sahil says, they surprise others. Yeah, use a stronger word than surprise. Aruba, personal benefits. Good. Such as, give me examples. They want to hide something. Yes. They might be embarrassed. Yes. I think give examples. A white lie. That's very nice. Jill Patel. A white lie. We say a white lie is just a little lie. It's not a serious lie. It's just it's an okay lie, an acceptable lie. For example, if you're a man, you have a girlfriend. She says, do I look fat? Does these jeans make me look fat? You're not going to say, yes, baby, you look fat. You're going to say, no, you look beautiful. It's just a white lie. It's okay, no problem. What else? Losing precious trap of situation. Yeah, okay, good. Ferdous. Sometimes for attractions. Boastful. Thank you, Jill Patel. Maybe a good one is we sometimes lie because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. That's a nice collocation, to hurt somebody's feelings. Often we don't tell a lie. We are afraid of hurting people's feelings. They want to show off their status. Yeah, maybe they want to boast. I have a big car, a big house. I have so much money. And they're lying, yeah, to make you think they are higher status. Maybe that's a good one. Magnify their identity. Yes, exactly, their status. How severe or light. Take advantage. Yeah. Okay, good. So we've got many reasons why. Hurt people's feelings. They want to elevate their status. They are afraid of being punished. They want to hide the truth. But just remember, it's very important in this is that you must then go on and give the examiner some examples. You know what? They are afraid of being punished. For example, if a school child does this, they will lie because they are afraid of punishment. Spellbind other hearts. Wow. They want to start conversation. Secret success. Yeah. Okay, good. Maybe they don't want you to know how much money they have. They think you are dangerous. So they just say, oh no, I'm poor. Go somewhere else. I have no money. Right. Next question. So these are real I don't know about spellbound. I don't think the use was correct there about spellbound. These are real questions that somebody sent me, so I don't know so much about this. Do you think there will be, there will be some gadgets or electronic devices in the future which will be able to tell whether a person is telling the truth or not? So just notice from this is, again, they're bringing technology into it. They like to bring technology into all their topics. Mohammed Shafiq, yes, they might lie because they're afraid to lose your confidence. I don't know how to answer this because this is just a yes/no question. So you need to sort of say yes, for example, blah, 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 or no, for example, blah, 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 blah. So let's say yes. For example, narco-analysis. Wow, Vincent, narco-analysis. Do you mean nano and what's narco-analysis? I don't think so because we can't attach emotions in the gadgets. Good, Sandeep. Maybe we can say computers will never be able to 100% read the human emotions. So I don't think so. Maybe harmful, not get excited. Yeah, I think we're moving on. Do you think we will have a gadget which will be able to tell if we're lying or not? Remember, we've used this phrase a lot, and artificial intelligence. We could have used it in that essay about machine translation. We can use it here. Artificial intelligence is a very useful phrase. Might be some wireless connection between the brain nerves and the tongue, which maybe measure the special movements. Wow, full enough. Sounds good. That's a good answer. Very creative. Katiko Alan, truth could hurt people's feelings. Yes, very good. So that's the previous question. Physical inactivity, I'm not sure what you mean. Japan is using this type of system in the offices to utilize. Good. Ferdus Shikta. Yeah, we already have something like that. It's called a lie detector test. We already have a lie detector test. It measures your heartbeat. Boom, 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 boom. And if you lie, your heartbeat goes up. They also can measure this thing in your eye. It's called the pupil. The little black circle in the eye. And when we get nervous or anxious, the pupil goes wider. So maybe they can measure that. Lakmal makes a very good point. We can say, I don't think we will have this machine because it's an invasion of privacy. Very nice. An invasion of privacy. Because you can't tell somebody, you must take this test about lying. You can't force people to take a test. So that's an invasion of privacy and infringement of their rights. Once again, we talk about rights. You see how often this comes up, people's rights in IELTS essays. We're often talking about different kind of rights. Patel, no general questions, please. Science is amazing. Our lie was created based on brain processes, so future technology could reveal it. Yeah, it is based on the brain, so maybe there will be some technology. Many people can understand psychology, so it's natural to be visible. Yeah, it's natural. The more we understand about psychology, the more likely it will be that we can make a machine, artificial intelligence, that understands psychology. Yes, Hitesh Mahajan, very good. You said criminal investigation, and that's actually the next question. I'm going to put that question now. Believe future technology will be booming, judgment through type of talking sentences, heartbeat, as well as their emotions. Good. But people were also talking about brain patterns. Right, next question. Do you think that technology helps to fight crime? Yes, of course. I think we're all going to say, yes, of course, technology helps to fight crime, but give examples. Full enough said it might be untrue. And that's a very good point. Full enough makes a very good point is we need to be very careful with this technology. What if the person is not lying and then the machine says he is lying and then he goes to jail because the machine made a mistake? So it's a good point, full enough. We must all be very careful with this technology. Good. Do you think technology helps to fight crime? Give me some examples of how technology helps to fight crime. Nowadays, X-ray in airports to find guns or bombs. Very good. Excellent. X-ray machines in security checkpoints, let's say. X-ray machines and other kinds of scanning machines in security checkpoints. Very good. Jill Patel, CCTV camera. Very good. Tracks kidnappers and helps to catch them. Many cities have CCTV camera all over the city. So if somebody commits a crime, the police are watching him and they can follow him. Mercy says we got a good point. DNA samples. That's very nice. So we're not only talking about cameras and computers, we're also talking about medical technology. And you must remember, when talking about technology, very often you can introduce medical technology. DNA samples, excellent. Lakmal, where are we? Photos, videos, good. Sensors in criminal's body. Yes, Sahil says, you can, if you find a criminal, you can put a chip or a sensor in his body, then you know you can track him, you know where he is all the time. Mercy says DNA sample, very good. You remember the medical technology. Super intelligent devices used in crime. Alarm systems in houses. Yeah, it's a very simple example, but it's a very good example. GPS tracking. Yeah, it's a good point to mention GPS, because we're using GPS for everything these days. Lying or not, pressure, blood pressure, neurons, very nice. Drugs, yeah, so blood tests for drugs or drunken driving is that's technology, that's medical technology, testing the level of drugs or alcohol in your blood. Even dogs, Ferdus, give me an example. How are dogs becoming expert? Tell me. But don't people think that technology may be the main assistant for crimes to cause terror and crisis? It's a very good point. Technology can be used to fight crime, but technology can also be used by the criminals to commit crimes. And you can give a whole lot of examples of that. Surveillance cameras, CCTV, yes, very good. Thank you, Patel. Camera are the best discoveries of the crime's place. Hidden stories behind darkness and emptiness. Wow. Okay. I think that's enough for today. But I think one thing, it's a very nice topic, crime and technology, really nice topic. We have discussed how technology can be used to fight crime. Maybe now you can also think of ways that technology can help the criminals. For example, hacking on the internet, hacking and stealing personal information. Retinal examination, very nice. Okay, so what you should do now is you should go and write one of these essays that we spoke about. Any one of these that we spoke about, while the ideas are in your head, go and write a 250-word essay. But don't send them to me. I don't have time to check essays, please. But it's a good thing for you to practice now, while all the vocabulary and all the ideas are in your head. So that's your homework. And it's time for me to say goodbye. Thank you very much, everybody. Once again, amazing ideas, excellent vocabulary. More videos coming soon. Thank you very much. My voice will improve soon. Thank you very much. Lakmal. Okay, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will see you next week. I'll try and post a video soon. Thank you very much. Make a note of all the vocabulary that we did. Okay, bye-bye, everybody.